6 things God hates. Proverbs 6:16-19 introduces us to a series of sins that God hates. I would like to go on record and clearly state that all sin should be avoided, but we should particularly avoid these sins. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Proverbs 6:16-19. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, an heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. When God expresses his hatred toward something, it is a matter of utmost seriousness. Therefore, we must exercise great caution and refrain from developing affinities or engaging in activities that align with the things God detests in order to safeguard ourselves. Today, we will embark on an in-depth examination of the passages in the book of Proverbs that shed light on the specific things that God hates. A proud look. Pride can be defined as an irrational overestimation of one's superiority in talents, beauty, wealth, rank, and other aspects. It manifests in displaying an air of superiority, keeping others at a distance, and often showing contempt towards them. Pride revolves around self-exaltation, self-adoration, and self-admiration. A proud individual looks down upon others due to their perceived status or possessions. For instance, someone might say, "I have so much money in the bank, I am far better than these poor people." Or, "I am exceptionally good-looking, much more so than anyone else." Or, "I am highly intelligent compared to these simple-minded individuals." Or, "I am more holier compared to these other sinners." Any person consumed by pride disregards God, assuming they can achieve success on their own. Pride involves considering oneself wise, without acknowledging God's role in all that one possesses and is. It comes as no surprise that pride tops the list of things that God detests. Pride is at the core of evil, mirroring the very nature of Satan himself. It was pride that caused war in heaven and resulted in his expulsion. Pride is not something to be taken lightly or flirted with in our lives. God actively opposed the proud, as stated in James 4:6. But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. In all honesty, pride is essentially self-worship. Even among believers, this issue of self-worship is prevalent. Often, believers feel superior to others when they receive godly wisdom and exhibit remarkable resistance against sin. We fail to recognize that these gifts were given by God through Christ and kindled by the Holy Spirit, not because of our inherent goodness. In this generation dominated by social media, many people find themselves at the altar of self, engaging in self-worship. They exalt and worship themselves, oblivious to the fact that any good thing in their lives is not of their own making, but a gift from God. The second evil thing God hates is a lying tongue. Speaking falsehood knowingly and willingly, with the intention to deceive others, hurt someone's character, or flatter a friend, is an abhorrent evil in the sight of God. Our God is a God of truth, and falsehood has no place in him. The origin of all deception is the devil, which is why he is referred to as the father of all lies. Nothing makes us resemble Satan more closely than engaging in lies. John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. I want to draw your attention to a powerful story from the early days of the church, a story that teaches us about the dangers of lying and the importance of living in truth. It is the account of Ananias and Sapphira, whose lives were marred by covetousness, hypocrisy, and a desire for the praise of others. In the book of Acts, we come across the story of Ananias and Sapphira, a married couple who were part of the early Christian community. The believers were known for their radical generosity, willingly sharing their possessions with one another. Inspired by this, Ananias and Sapphira decided to sell a piece of property, but withheld a portion of the proceeds for themselves. However, they presented it to the apostles as the full amount, lying about their act of generosity. Sadly, their deceit had grave consequences, as both Ananias and later his wife Sapphira faced sudden death as a result of their dishonesty. Covetousness, hypocrisy, and a desire for the praise of others were the underlying factors that led to Ananias and Sapphira's tragic downfall. Covetousness crept into their hearts, making them prioritize personal gain over the principles of honesty and integrity. They wanted to appear generous, to receive admiration and praise from others. Hypocrisy became their way of life, as they pretended to be selfless, while secretly holding back a portion of their wealth. Their desire for the praise of men outweighed their commitment to living in truth before God and their fellow believers. God sees the heart. The story of Ananias and Sapphira reminds us that God sees beyond our outward actions. He discerns the intentions of our hearts. We cannot deceive God with false appearances or half-hearted devotion. He desires sincerity and truth in all aspects of our lives. Honesty and integrity matter. Covetousness and deceit have no place in the life of a believer. We are called to be people of integrity, reflecting the character of our God, who is the embodiment of truth. Our words and actions should align with the principles of honesty and righteousness. Beware of hypocrisy. Ananias and Sapphira's hypocrisy led to severe consequences. It is a dangerous path to pretend to be something we are not. Let us strive for authenticity and transparency, both in our relationship with God and with one another. This should show us how quickly and suddenly the judgment of the Lord can fall on a person's life. Imagine if God dealt with every single lie in this manner. All of us, every single one of us would not be here today. God hates lies. God hates deceit. God hates a double life. Do not be a deceptive person. If you're hiding a secret affair from your spouse, that is being a deceptive person. If you are lying about your whereabouts, that is being a deceptive person. God hates lies. The third on the list of the things God hates is hands that shed innocent blood. God's message is clear. He abhors those who shed innocent blood, a characteristic that has defined the devil from the very beginning. When we speak of hands that shed innocent blood, we are referring to the act of cold-hearted murder. You may argue that you have never taken a life or committed such an atrocity, but allow me to share with you a teaching from Jesus that sheds light on this matter. Matthew 5:21 through to 24. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, "You shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment." But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or sister, "Raka," is answerable to the court. And anyone who says, "You fool," will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to them, then come and offer your gift. The teaching of the scribes and Pharisees, which focused on the commandment, "You shall not murder," was partially accurate. However, they also conveyed the notion that actions falling short of actual murder might be permissible. Jesus corrects this misconception and clarifies that not only those who physically commit murder are subject to judgment, but also those who harbor a murderous intent in their hearts. It is important to emphasize that Jesus is not equating anger with murder. It is morally misguided to consider someone who expresses anger towards another as having committed a sin on par with someone who murders in a fit of rage. Jesus highlights that while both actions are condemned by the law, they are not considered identical transgressions. The laws of the people could only address the outward act of murder, but Jesus reveals that his followers comprehend that God's moral standards encompass not only the final act, but also the initial seeds of murder. The fourth on the list is a heart that devises wicked plans. God knows us from the depths of our hearts. Every thought is clearly seen by God. Prophet Jeremiah wrote like this, Jeremiah 17:9, "The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" If God can open the hearts of men and allow us to see inside of them, we might be shocked to see what wicked plans are going around their hearts. Let it be known that nothing is hidden in the eyes of God. God knows everything. Psalms 44:21. Would not God search this out? For he knows the secrets of the heart. We must pray to God for a new clean heart. Ezekiel 36:26. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will take the heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. The fifth on the list is feet that are swift in running to evil. Those who eagerly rush into evil with their feet show no resistance to sin. Are you someone who plans and accommodates sin? Do you structure your schedule to make time and space for sin? True wisdom lies in fleeing from evil at all costs. It becomes utter foolishness when one is observed sprinting towards evil deeds. Solomon, in his wisdom, eloquently expressed this concept. Proverbs 14:16. A wise man fears and departs from evil, but a fool rages and is self-confident. Our feet should run towards the Lord, towards righteousness, towards holiness. What have your feet been running to? The sixth thing on the list is a false witness who speaks lies. As witnesses, it is our duty to consistently speak the truth. We must strive to be faithful witnesses wherever we are called to testify. By doing so, we will find favor in the eyes of God.